Some people tap their feet, some people snap their fingers, and some people just sway back and forth. I just sort of do them all together, I guess.
And now here is Elvis Presley.
I got news for you, baby.
So excited, I can't wait.
I think Presley was a star.
Well, heard the news.
Oh, he's such a sexy person. He will always be the king no matter what.
As you will know, these are not ordinary days, so this Elvis Presley News Report will be different. Despite that, I've managed to make an entertaining video, so just sit back and enjoy. Warner Brothers has delayed the release of the untitled Elvis film by 1 month. Originally scheduled for a release on October 1st, 2021, it is now postponed until November 5th, 2021. While several future blockbusters have had their release dates pushed back by more than a year, this project is still due to hit cinemas in late 2021. Director Baz Luhrmann says, "Looking at where we are going now, it is our plan to get together and to start working again right at the end of the year. But only if all is going well and predicated on a governmental decision."
A boyhood friend of Elvis Presley and historian at the singer's birthplace and museum has passed away. Guy Harris grew up with Elvis in East Tupelo and stayed in contact with the singer after he became a superstar. Harris was the historian at the Elvis Presley birthplace and museum and would share his memories of his boyhood friend with fans from around the world. The lifelong Tupelo resident was a regular at the annual Tupelo Elvis Festival, and he was honored by Tupelo in 2018 for his work promoting Elvis's legacy to tourists. Guy Harris was 81 years old.
Collector's label Follow That Dream Records has delayed the release of the Kid Galahad sessions and the concert release Elvis St. Louis Spokane until May 15th. Originally announced for an early April release, this is the second announced delay. As it stands, Graceland is set to reopen to the public on May 20th. However, the temporary closure could well be extended due to the lockdown across the US. Matt Shepard has published his first ever podcast, which is based on the books Stories Behind the Songs, Volumes 1 and 2. His plan for the podcast is to be weekly. You will find the link of the first episode in the description text below the video. Memphis Mafia member and former Elvis bodyguard Dick Grob has died at his home in Las Vegas on April 22nd. He passed peacefully at home surrounded by family. Dick Grob first met Elvis on May 1st, 1967, the day of Elvis and Priscilla's wedding. At the request of Elvis, he remained in permanent employment from that day on and later even became head of security for Elvis and his family. Dick Grob published 2 books, in 1979 The Elvis Conspiracy and in 2019 Elvis Safe and Sound. I could not find his exact age, but he was either 80 or 81 years old. The highest paid item at the GWS auctions of March 28 was this diamond and blue sapphire ring. The ring came with a letter of authenticity from Elvis's cousin Earl Greenwood, which states that the piece was worn by Elvis during the Aloha from Hawaii television special. To me, it was difficult to see if Elvis was wearing the ring on the photos that accompanied the auction lot. The ring was sold for $27,500. Elvis Presley used 2 guitars in his movie Girls, Girls, Girls. One of them, this Harmony mahogany acoustic guitar, was auctioned at the Gotta Have Rock and Roll auction of April 4. The guitar is stamped inside of the sound hole with a Paramount Pictures property stamp, Prop Department. And like most of Elvis's movie guitars, it had the manufacturer's name blacked out. This guitar came with a letter of authenticity from Alan Fortes and was sold for $48,945. Hello everybody. The extra video to soften your stay in quarantine was very successful with over 20,000 views. Thank you very much. Perhaps it is a nice idea to post a follow-up in about 2 weeks' time. But this time I'm giving you the opportunity to tell your most funny, your most entertaining or special Elvis-related story. This idea can only come into fruition if I receive enough stories to fill a 10 minutes video. This is what you have to do. Record your story and make your video in landscape, so not in portrait, but landscape. Your head must not be too close and not too far away. Something like this. Speak loud and try to tell your remarkable story in maximum 90 seconds and work towards a punchline. Mail your video to elvisdisco@hotmail.com before May 8th, 2020. Goodbye. Let me give you an example. In the comments section of the extra video there was a man with the name of John Barrows who told the following story. I once saved money for a month to get one of the last behind closed door boxes. For those who are not familiar with this box set, it was an extremely expensive, desirable and hard to get bootleg set of 4 LPs released in 1979. I got it cheap, but one LP was uneven. I switched the oven to the lowest temperature, put the record in and a pan on top of it. Well, the temperature obviously was a little too high anyway, as all the grooves were gone from the record and the vinyl was a plain mess. I thought I was dying. The correct answer to last month's trivia question was the noun wheel or wheels.
Let the wheel go round. A big wheel to keep on turning. Wheels on my hill.
I have made this month's trivia question a bit more easy. What do these 3 song titles have in common?
You, oh my darling, though your lips are so inviting.
Place your answer in the comments. Hello everybody. I want to talk to you about my meeting with Guy Harris. But before I tell you my story, I want you to know that I have a stutter and a stammer, so maybe it won't go as fluently, but I'll do my best. We went to Tupelo in 2017 with a large group of British fans, and I was one of the few Dutch people of the group. We went on August 9 and Guy Harris was there at the birthplace and the museum, and a lot of people, including me, had their picture taken with him. But there was little room for a real conversation. The next day I went back to the museum and there he was sitting on a bench near the entrance, and it was a lot more quiet. And Guy Harris was sitting on a bench and he was talking to a local person, and I saw that there was room on the bench and I sat next to him, and all of a sudden the 3 of us had a chit-chat conversation. It was nothing special. But then all of a sudden there was a woman approaching, and she had with her a picture. The one of Guy Harris with Elvis from the 1940s. And she asked Mr. Harris, would you like to sign the photo for me? And he said, yes, of course, no problem. And he signed it and he gave it her, and she was happy and she went away. And I turned to Mr. Harris. I said, Mr. Harris, are you selling these photos? And he said, no, I'm not selling any photos. She must have found it on the internet, had it printed, and that's the story behind her photo. But he noticed that I was a little disappointed. But I said to him, well, yesterday we took our picture. If you can put your autograph in my notebook, then I can cut it out and then I can glue it next to the photo. But then all of a sudden I noticed he took a kind of liking in me, because I didn't ask him about his life with Elvis. No, I asked him questions about his life. And I asked Mr. Harris, has life been good to you? And he turned to me and he said, yes, I've been very fortunate. Life has been very good to me. I said, well, that's good to hear. But then he said, you stay here, don't go away. And then he walked to the parking lot, to his car, and he had a really big car, he had a nice car. He came back with a big brown envelope, a bag. And he said next to me, and he said with a conspiracy voice, he said, would you like to see photos of me with Elvis? And I said, yes, of course, I would like to see photos of you with Elvis. And then he opened the bag, and there they were, about 15 to 20 photos of Elvis with Guy Harris. And I watched them, and some were familiar, but some were also new to these eyes. And it was really exciting seeing new photos of Guy Harris with Elvis. And then all of a sudden he said to me, he said, would you like to have one? And I said, yeah, sure, of course I would like to have one. That would be fantastic. And I asked him, do you want any money for it? And he said, oh, no, they are free. You don't have to pay me money. Then he picked one out and he said, would you like to have this one? And I said, yes, that would be fantastic. And then he turned it around and he said to me, what is your name? And then he wrote down, to Emiel Maier, I hope you enjoyed this picture. This is the picture he gave to me. It is not an original, but it is a reprint of the original. So it's not taken from the internet. This is a reprint from the original. And this is what he wrote to me. I'm not sure if you can read it, but it was such a nice gesture. And I was very, very happy with it. But then he said to me, he said, don't tell anybody, hush, because if people know that you have gotten a picture from me, then everybody else wants to have one. And then I said to Miss Harris, don't you worry, hush, hush, my mouth is shut, nobody will ever know. Until now, and I'm very happy that Guy Harris gave me this picture, and it made my holiday, it made my vacation. He was such a nice guy. He really, really was. Mr. Harris, rest in peace. Goodbye. That's all for this month. Hope to see you next time. Until then, have a happy Elvis Presley Day.
You have a happy